against. First up, after Representative Warren is Harold Booth. Yes, so Harold Booth is up first, followed by James Betts. Looks like, Avery, do we have Mr. Booth with us? Yes, we do. Okay, I got him. You'll be in cyberspace for just a sec and then hop right on with us. Hopefully. There we go. Good afternoon, Mr. Booth. You are up next if you want to unmute yourself and
excellent.
Possible.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I have testimony, but you already have that in written form anyway. And since I've already testified essentially with the same stuff in previous performances, let me just say that for me it's a matter of fairness, and this I think is at least the third. Now this has got to be the fourth time I've appeared in a hearing for this thing, and I think it's just a matter of fairness. And please read my testimony. That contains virtually everything I want to say, and I don't want to take up any more of your time, but certainly would appreciate having your support on this bill. Thank you very much. And I would be willing to answer any questions that you might have for me.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you waiting while we work through all of our technical difficulties. Mr. Booth, if you could just let us know where you're from, that would be wonderful.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Actually, I'm in a parking lot. You probably want to know where I live, and that's Hollowell. I actually live a very close neighbor of Charlotte Warren.
Oh, excellent. Very, very good. Well, thank you very much for your testimony. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Booth?
As in, I can walk very easily.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. Next up.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is James Betts. Welcome, Mr. Betts. Mr. Betts, I believe your speaker is on.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to unmute. Senator Chipman, Representative Terry, and members of the Taxation Committee. My name is Jim Betts. I'm a retired state employee who worked for the Department of Labor, Bureau of Unemployment. Thank God I'm not there now. And a Vietnam era veteran. I live in Winthrop. I urge you to support LB 1145 and 1227 and/or. There are a myriad of issues that deal with tax fairness. And this is but a small one, but a serious one for those affected and an easy one to be corrected. The state of Maine exempts Social Security benefits, and for state workers, the Maine state retirement pension is our Social Security. Let me repeat what most of you have heard repeatedly. This is our Social Security. Our pensions are based on our 3 highest yearly earnings. And as you may already know from the recent study on our earnings, state employees lag significantly behind the private sector. And then to make matters worse, we are taxed in retirement at a higher rate than those in the private sector due to this inequity. While I am proud and appreciative of my service and the employment with the state of Maine, lower wages and higher taxes do not make for a secure retirement. I will turn 70 this July. My home is paid for, so no mortgage, and I live fairly simple, a frugal life. I keep a very detailed and strict budget that leaves me $150 a week for gas, groceries, unexpected expenses that include healthcare, co-payments, and deductibles. Note, for me, that is 21 pills a day that I'm paying co-payments on. Coming out of that $150 a week, that doesn't leave a lot of room. I'm asking you to vote in favor of these bills to give a small break for state retirees facing the stresses in retirement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Betts. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony and for your service to the state. Thank you. Next up is Jeff McCabe, followed by Mr. McCabe will be John Kaczynski. Welcome, Mr. McCabe.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Senator Chipman, Representative Terry, members of the Taxation Committee. My name is Jeff McCabe. I serve as the Legislative and Political Director for Maine Service Employees Association. We represent over 13,000 workers here in the state of Maine. You've heard from some of our retirees. We are in strong support of the bill before you. The written testimony that I provided that I will not read line by line is testimony in support of LD 1145 as well as LD 1227. And, our members really speak to sort of the issue of fairness so well that I also don't want to spend, a lot of time reiterating their stories, but I did appreciate the comments earlier in regards to Representative Bickford bringing this up as, what was worked on as a compromise to try to move forward. And it's our hope that the committee will see the path to that compromise again, and that this will receive, unanimous support out of the committee. And I imagine for, Representative Warren, we really appreciate you bringing this bill forward, especially Representative Hanley, who also represents a number of state employee retirees, as well as teachers, as well as probably many of you. And I imagine you've heard from retirees, both teachers and state employees as well, just about the fairness issue and the importance of this issue. And with that, I'll just open it up for questions and yield the rest of my time to my colleague, John Kaczynski.
Mr. Kaczynski will get the same amount of time that you took, Mr. McCabe. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. McCabe? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony.
Appreciate your work, all.
Thank you. And Jeff, will you be here for the work session?
Absolutely. And as things are worked, feel free to reach out to myself. I will also yet again volunteer Mr. Kaczynski, but we're happy to work on this issue and answer questions of the committee and work with the analyst as well. I know we've sort of looked at this issue through a few different approaches in the past, and we're open to talking about those as well.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
You.
Next up is John Kaczynski. Welcome, Mr. Kaczynski. How are you?
Wonderful. Senator Chipman, Representative Terry, other esteemed members of the Taxation Committee. If you don't mind, Representative Terry, I was planning to respond to all 5 bills in my testimony today. Is that okay, just to save some time?
Yeah, usually try to have all of the bills read ahead of time, but unfortunately, we are missing several representatives. It's tough to get everybody here all at the same time.
If you would rather me wait, I can wait, or I can just hit them all at one time.
I think I'm okay with hitting them all at one time. We will hear all of them. So
excellent. Thank you so much. I will do that today. My one son just came home from school. I'll be shocked if I get through this testimony without dogs barking in the background as well, but I will do my best. So good to see everybody. I am John Kaczynski here on behalf of the Maine Education Association, testifying in support of LD 1227 and 1145. The MEA represents 24,000 educators in the state of Maine, including over 5,000 retirees. And we never come before this committee asking for a tax break, a tax exemption, or a carve out. I've been with the MEA for 10 years. I don't remember ever coming to this committee ever and asking for any kind of tax break, because we know how critical state resources are to funding public education throughout this state. And so we consistently come here, and rarely do we ask. Often I remind the committee about 55% and the need to meet that commitment. But we're compelled to support LD 1227, 1145, because in so many ways, educators are disadvantaged in retirement. And both of these are efforts to, I would say, ameliorate some of the disadvantages that retired educators face. As you heard earlier, teachers in Ed Tech 2s and 3s do not participate in Social Security. This is their only pension. This is their only retirement. And our goal has been consistently to make sure that people who spend their lives caring for children can retire with basic dignity. And that is being challenged. The cuts to the pension system in 2011 were devastating for future and current retirees. Frozen cost of living, caps on the cost of living. Those are going to be felt for generations to come, specifically because here in Maine, we have a constitutional amendment that was passed in 1996, which limits the ability for the state to make any improvements to the pension system without paying the cost of those improvements up front. So in 2011, we saw huge cuts to the pensions of teachers, ed techs, and state employees in order to reduce the top income tax rate and to give tax cuts for the wealthiest among us. Given that, and given the inability to make improvements with this constitutional amendment, which I cited in my testimony, we're compelled to support both of these measures. One bill last year, for example, just to undo some of the damage from 2011, to lift the COLA from 20,000 to, I believe it was 30,000, it's in my written testimony, had a fiscal note of $250 million. Now, obviously, we're going to struggle to find that kind of money in the state in order to make that improvement. The least we can do is make sure that our retirees have parity with Social Security, if they're getting a little bit more of an exemption in their state income taxes due to the cuts to the pensions that were made. I also want to flag specifically on 1145, the cuts, not the cuts, but the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset are two very, very difficult things for many retirees. This impacts teachers and public employees who retire, might have enough quarters in Social Security, and they go to retire. They often find 2/3 of their Social Security benefit will not be there for them. This is an issue that impacts about 15 states. We've worked on it for a long time. We continue to work on it, but we appreciate the prioritization in 1145 to make sure that we're recognizing that. And lastly, I'll just say, I know there's 136, 1184, and 1243 did not submit testimony on those. Certainly understand the need to exempt out-of-state pensions, et cetera, but hope the committee would show just a prioritization for educators and public servants who've given so much and then had the rug pulled out from under them in 2011 with the cuts that I previously mentioned. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate your service to the state of Maine.
Thank you. Bickford.
I represent Bickford.
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, Mr. Kozinski. Question for you, two actually, very quick ones. One is, you are aware that if you have 30 years in Social Security, there is no state vets. Are you aware of that?
I'm sorry, Representative, it might be on my end, but you are really choppy and it's hard to hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you aware that with 30 years in Social Security, you don't face windfall elimination with any state retiree benefits?
I'd want to take a look at that, sir, before answering that.
Okay, I know the answer, but the other question
Excellent.
is, the other question is, do you support what we passed last year, which was to pair the state retirement with Social Security and not make it a better benefit, but the same?
Yes, sir. I just looked at that when you mentioned that earlier. That was LD 162 last year.
Yes.
I believe that died due to the abrupt adjourning of the legislature. But yes, sir, we supported that as well.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Kozinski? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. We appreciate it, and we'll make sure after we hear the other the other bills that we'll take that under consideration. Take your testimony under consideration. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next up is Leonard Blanchette, and following Mr. Blanchette will be Victoria. Welcome, Mr. Blanchette. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Senator Chipman and Representative Terry and members of the Committee on Taxation. My name is Leonard Blanchett. I reside in Winthrop, Maine, and I offer this testimony in support of LD 1145. This hearing will also include testimony regarding LDs 136 and 1227. Both deal with the issue of reducing the taxable portion of one's civil service pension as it applies to the main income tax, but neither totally eliminates the main income tax on that pension. LD 1145, in contrast, proposes a total exemption of the state income tax on Maine public employees' retirement system pensions. This is only fair, as Maine already exempts one's Social Security pension from state income tax. Because the state of Maine signed off on the federal Social Security windfall elimination provision and government pension offset, my wife, a retired 33-year state employee, has lost 2/3 of her Social Security pension benefit that she has rightfully earned working second jobs during and after her state employment, and will lose 2/3 of her survivor's benefit. The least the state can do now is to not tax her remaining taxable Maine public retirement pension and take more of her hard-earned pension from her. I urge you to please correct the tax inequity between the public employees' pension and the Social Security pension, and to do the right thing to help offset the financial harm caused my wife and all other retired public employees in that position as a result of Maine signing on to the federal Social Security windfall elimination provision and government offset program. I urge the committee to vote and not to pass for LD 1145, or at the very least, and not to pass vote for either LD 136 or LD 1227. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blanchett, for your testimony. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, thank you again for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up is Victoria Wallach. Welcome, Ms. Wallach. You're on mute still.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Senator Chipman, Representative Terry, and members of the Taxation Committee. I am Victoria Wallach, Communications and Government Relations Director for the Maine School Boards Association and Maine School Superintendents Association, in support of both LD 1227 and LD 1145. Our association support the intent of both bills, which is to exempt Maine PERS from the income tax and allow our retired teachers, as Mr. Kaczynski so well described their plight, and administrators to receive the full amount. That would put the tax treatment of the pension system in line with Social Security, which is not taxed, but also is not an option for our educators or state employees. According to Jamet's testimony, and we've mentioned it before, there are at least 9, I've learned, and maybe more states today that do not tax retirement income, and at least several other states that exempt a portion of it. The larger issue of Social Security versus the defined benefit contribution still needs to be addressed, in our opinion. And there have been several studies on it, and another study I believe is in the works, or at least there's a bill in to call for it. For now, we need to do the right thing for our retirees and allow them to keep as much of the state pension benefit as possible by eliminating the income tax. And I'd be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Wallach. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. We appreciate it. Have a good afternoon. Okay, we have a little, we are still waiting for a couple of other representatives to present their bills.
Representative Sampson is going to be here in like a minute. I just sent her a new link.
Terrific. And Representative Wadsworth?
No, don't know.
Okay. I'm going to make the suggestion, since we are hearing testimony for all of these bills, that we pause for a second and listen to testimony from Representative Dodge, from Representative Hanley, and at least from Representative Sampson when she gets here. Hopefully Representative Wadsworth will have a moment too. And then the rest of the testimony, which is limited, we'll be able to listen to that with a better perspective, I think. So Representative Hanley, why don't we start with you, if that's okay, since you're already on our screen, with your testimony. Yep, take your time.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Too many things going on. You know how this is. So
Celia,
if you're ready, I'll present this.
we are all set. You go right ahead.
Representative Terry and members, and Senator Chipman and members of the Tax Committee. I'm here to introduce LD 136, an act to increase the maximum pension deduction for state income tax. I am introducing this bill. I'm not going to waste any of your time. It was passed out of committee in the last session in the amended form which I've presented. And it allows pensions from out of state people that retire in Maine, come to Maine, to have their pension relieved of income tax. And it does it over a graduated period of going from $0 to $5,000 per year and up to a maximum of $30,000. I want to make sure of that number. $35,000 maximum would be exempt from Maine's income tax. And this would happen over 5-year increments of every 5 years, every year for until we reach that level. The people that would benefit from this naturally are Maine citizens now that have worked out of state, come here and they bring their wealth and their knowledge with them. They're part of our community and they also, of course, spend their money here. And just like we're talking about with Maine retirees getting their pensions also relieved of income tax, and Social Security retirees already receiving that benefit, it's only fair, as we've all been saying, to extend that same benefit to people that come from out of state with the pension also. And because remember, people that come here from out of state that are on a pension, they're a benefit to the state. They come here not as a burden, they come here as a benefit. And they're our new citizens. So I'll leave that presentation there and try to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Representative Hanley? I just have one, Representative Hanley. Which bill was that we passed last session? Do you know what number it was?
I did when I started this, and I don't have that in my head right now. But when I had this bill crafted, I asked the reviser's office to imitate the adopted language.
Okay.
So that's why I have it as it is.
Great. And I'm going to guess that you'll probably be here for our work session. So perhaps if you wouldn't mind. Okay. So if it's the same language, then it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Terrific.
I'll track that down for the
Okay,
work session.
Great. Thank you very much for your testimony. No questions for. Terrific. Sorry, I'm just going to cut my video and speak because my internet is unstable. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sorry, Representative Hanley, your face is the only one I can see moving. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yeah, you're fine.
Terrific. Good. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, next up is Representative Dodge, who is the sponsor of LD 1227. Welcome, Representative Dodge.
Good afternoon. May I proceed, Madam Chair?
We hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
Go, yes, do proceed, Representative Dodge.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Senator Chipman, Representative Terry, and esteemed members of the Joint Standing Committee on Taxation. I am Representative Jan Dodge of House District 97, which includes Belfast, Northport, and Waldo. I am here to present LD 1227, an act to provide equity in the state income tax deduction for certain public employees' retirement system pensions. This bill is a reboot of Senator Bellows' bill LD 162 from the 129th that passed both the House and Senate, but unfortunately died on the appropriations table. LD 1227, like LD 162, would achieve tax parity with Social Security through $5,000 incremental increases per year until 2025. It is relevant to know that the people affected by this law are the people who joined the Maine Public Employees Retirement System, or MEPRS, rather than Social Security, under what could be described as questionable circumstances. This story rivals the book of Job in enumerated trials and tribulations. These are the retired teachers who have had their cost of living adjustments or COLAs cut to balance state budgets, and who have had their pension benefits reduced through increasing health insurance costs. This occurred through the historic assigned responsibility for a larger percentage of their health insurance costs than other state workers. In addition to the passage of LD 1626, which years ago promised lower health insurance premiums through the breakup of health insurance risk pools. That bill did not deliver the promised reductions. These are the people who approached retirement age only to be told that they had to work more years to qualify for their expected benefit. This specific atrocity meant that a 33-year career needed to be extended to 38 to 43 years in order to qualify without penalty. My testimony would not be complete without indicating the discriminatory damage this last change caused for mothers who stayed home to raise their children at intervals throughout their teaching careers. I believe your committee recently heard LD 548, Representative Doer's bill on this very topic. I must also bring to your attention that teachers who work summer jobs to supplement their income and earn their Social Security quarters are further harmed with the federal benefit reductions through the windfall elimination provision, or the WEP or WEP, and the government pension offset, the GPO, as well as reductions in spousal benefits that you've talked about already today. Now, let's pause as I restate that current law provides an income tax exemption for all Social Security benefits, in addition to a $10,000 pension exemption for retirement plan benefits. This bill allows it to take until the year 2025 for our retirees and MEPRS to reach pension tax equity with Social Security. Please ponder the weight of that statement for more than just the present moment. Indeed, this collection of public servants has suffered a series of unfortunate events. Please pass LD 1227 to restore some fiscal stability and dignity to the retired teachers and state employees of the state of Maine. Thank you. I will try to answer your questions.
Thank you, Representative Dodge. I apologize for my internet being completely wonky. Does anyone have any questions for Representative Dodge? I just have one. And you had said earlier in your testimony that this was based on Senator Bellows' bill from last session. Is it the amended language from Senator Bellows' bill? I may have missed that part if you said it was.
I believe that it is as amended. So it would be LD 162 as amended.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Representative Dodge? Seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. I did see that you were on the attendee list, so you probably heard all of the testimony in favor of your bill so far.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Next up is Representative Sampson with LD 1243. Welcome, Representative Sampson. Thank you for jumping in.
Oops. Touchy. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Senator Chipman, Representative Terry, and members of the Committee on Taxation. I am Heidi Sampson, representing the good people of House District 21, Alfred, Limerick, Shapley, Newfield, and Parsonsfield. I present to you LD 1243, an act regarding out-of-state pensions. Is it a fair practice for Maine to tax retirement payments that were not earned by an individual living in the state? Upon retirement, should they move to the state, they are taxed on that pension. This bill is requesting that pensions earned prior to becoming a Maine resident should not be taxed. Veterans, state and local government employees, we just heard from Representative Dodge, protected service employees, etc., who have earned a pension in out of state, in another state, should be required to follow the state code in that state that it had been earned. The purpose of this bill is to eliminate the double taxation by an employee who contributed to their retirement benefits and their plans that had been contracted and agreed upon in another state. Maine's double taxation is a strike against our state. People with forethought plan for their future. The greatest benefit to the plan behind a pension is the benefit of predictable monthly incomes upon retirement. However, moving to Maine negatively impacts that pension income. Why would people want to move here? I ask this committee to please consider modifying the tax policies to reflect this inequity. I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Representative Sampson, for your testimony. Does anyone have any questions? Representative Bickford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Sampson, how many states currently do not tax other states?
That is a good question. I don't have the exact number, but
Can you get that?
Pardon. Go ahead.
Can you get that for the work session, please?
Sure. Yep, I'll get the exact number. Yes.
Okay.
That would be great. Thank you. Any other questions for Representative Sampson? Seeing none, we really appreciate you being here to testify for your bill. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next bill to hear would be LD 1184, an act to exempt taxations from taxation certain out of states pensions. Sorry, guys. With Representative Wadsworth. Avery, have we heard from Representative Wadsworth yet?
No.
Okay. Representative Bickford, are you able to read the summary of his bill for him?
I am. It's LD 1184, an act to exempt from taxation certain out-of-state pensions. This bill exempts from Maine income tax certain income from out-of-state pensions in order to avoid double taxation of that income. The exemption is only for the amount of the contribution made by the taxpayer divided by the life expectancy of the taxpayer, and applies only if the income is included in federal adjusted gross income and not deducted under the general pension deductions. In order to qualify for the exemption, the contribution must have been made using an income on which the income tax was paid and is available only if the state in which the taxpayer resided at the time of the contribution provides a similar exemption to a former resident of Maine. So it sounds like a reciprocity. And please don't ask me any questions.
Deferred or did my computer die? Maybe we should be working on Representative Lauren. Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
We can, yes.
Thank you, Representative Matlack. Okay, we have heard from all those in favor of these, some of them multiple. The next person up is Daniel D'Alessandro from MRS, who is here. Let's see, who is here to testify against all 5 of these bills. Mr. D'Alessandro, thank you for sticking it out with us. Welcome.
So I'm testifying not for, not against some of them and against some of them, but I can give it all to you now. I have 2 different testimonies.
I'm sorry, Daniel, would you mind repeating yourself?
I'm sorry, I'm testifying not for, not against 2 of them, and then against the remaining 3.
Okay, terrific. I have you on my list for that. Why don't we start with the against ones? Thank you.
Representative Terry, members of the Taxation Committee, good afternoon. My name is Daniel D'Alessandro. I'm testifying on behalf of Dr. Allen, the Associate Commissioner for Tax Policy. I'm a staff attorney in the Office of Tax Policy. And I'm here today at the request of the administration to testify not for, not against LD 136 and against LD 1227 and 1145. These are the public service bills that we just heard. These bills propose to increase the maximum pension income deduction for tax years beginning on or after January 1st, 2021. LD 136 would increase the existing maximum deduction for non-military pension income from $10,000 to $35,000 over a 5-year period, at which time the deduction would be subject to an annual inflation adjustment. LD 1227 would increase the existing maximum deduction in a similar fashion, but with the added complexity of limiting the increase to apply only to civil service retirement plan benefits. LD 1145 would fully exempt uncovered civil service retirement plan benefits, similar to the current treatment of military retirement income and Social Security and railroad retirement plan benefits. An uncovered civil service retirement plan is defined as a state, local, or federal government retirement plan benefit received as a result of non-covered service, employment not subject to Social Security tax. These plans in some ways replace Social Security. Currently, taxpayers with uncovered civil service retirement plan benefits may deduct the lesser of their total benefits under their employee retirement plans or individual retirement plans, and $10,000 reduced by the total amount of their Social Security and any railroad retirement plan benefits, if any. This same limit currently applies to private sector retiree with benefit plans established and maintained by their employers. The administration notes that LD 1145 could provide a greater tax benefit for taxpayers receiving uncovered pensions than it would for those receiving covered pensions and Social Security. If this additional benefit were construed as discriminating in favor of state employees relative to federal employees, then it could raise constitutional issues that are in some ways similar to those in the recent Dawson versus Deeger US Supreme Court case from 2019. An increase in the pension deduction to achieve parity between Social Security recipients and government pension recipients who do not participate in Social Security is a perennial issue before the legislature. Although the administration recognizes the importance of the proposed policy objectives reflected in these bills, but now may not be the best time to commit the state to an increasing tax reduction that may not be sustainable given the high level of uncertainty surrounding the current economic environment. MRS staff will be available to work with the committee as the committee reviews the topic of pension and retirement deductions. The administration has important technical concerns with these bills that staff from MRS can address more fully at the work session. The fiscal information and administrative costs are available in the written testimony. The administration looks forward to working with the committee on these bills. Representatives from MRS will be here for the work session to provide additional information and respond in detail to the committee's questions. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have now.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. D'Alessandro?
And I also have testimony on the remaining two bills against those two bills.
I'm sorry, Daniel. I thought that was the whole thing. I am really sorry. My internet is, the unstable button keeps popping up. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I'm here to testify at the request of the administration to testify against LD 1184 and LD 1243. These are the pension bills concerning out-of-state pensions. These bills propose to exempt from Maine individual income tax employee retirement plan distribution of amounts contributed by the employee, but not distributions of other amounts, for instance, employer contributions or earnings, to the extent included in federal adjusted gross income for the tax year. Contribution amounts distributed during the tax year and deducted under the Maine pension income tax deduction pursuant to paragraph M2 of the modifications are not eligible for the exemption provided by these bills. Although for LD 1184, technical clarification of that treatment is needed. LD 1184 limits the income tax exemption to contributions for which income tax was paid to another jurisdiction. LD 1243 requires that the taxpayer had been a resident of the other jurisdiction at the time of the contribution was made, but does not limit the exemption to contributions for which income tax was paid to another jurisdiction. The issue these bills appear intended to address is a situation of taxation of the employee's contribution amount by one state during the year of contribution, the employee retiring and moving to Maine, and taxation of the contribution amount by Maine during the year of distribution. The timing difference is tied to the federal tax treatment of generally deferring taxation until the time of retirement plan distributions, which, except for the treatment of so-called pickup contributions, Maine follows. Thus, this is primarily an issue of when the other state deviates from the federal tax treatment. Under current Maine law, pickup contributions made by Maine state and local governments to the Maine Public Employees Retirement System on behalf of employees are subject to Maine income tax at the time of the contribution and subject to federal income tax, but not Maine income tax when distributed. This issue is perennially before the legislature and would best be solved equitably and efficiently through an increase in the level of the pension income deduction. The pension income deduction provides that up to $10,000, reduced by the total amount of Social Security and railroad retirement benefits, of local, state, and federal retirement benefits, individual retirement account benefits, as well as retirement benefits that are the result of a benefit plan established and maintained by an employer for the benefit of its employees, may be deducted to calculate Maine taxable income. Benefits received under a military retirement plan, including survivor benefits, are fully exempt from Maine income tax. Social Security and railroad retirement benefits are also exempt from Maine income tax. The administration has a number of important technical drafting comments on these bills that staff from MRS can address more fully at the work session. The fiscal estimates for these bills are not available at this time. The preliminary administrative costs of each LD is estimated to be $11,000 in fiscal year 21-22 for computer programming to add a line to the individual income tax return. The administration looks forward to working with the committee on the bill. Representatives from MRS will be here at the work session to provide additional information and respond in detail to the committee's questions. I'd be happy to respond to any question you may have now.
Thank you very much, Mr. D'Alessandro, and I apologize for cutting you off earlier. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. D'Alessandro? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. There is no one else in our list. Sorry, let me just double check. speaking for nor against, or neither for nor against. So I believe that concludes our public hearings on these bills. Does anyone have any announcements? Julie, do you have anything for us? Nope. All right, seeing none, we'll see you all here on, is it Monday, Julie, or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday of next week. Okay, and for the following week, I believe we're working on that schedule because we're going to be out on the 13th for session. So we'll need to rework our schedule a little bit, and we'll send out an email by in a little bit this afternoon about what next week looks like as far as timing goes.
Representative Terry, did you say the 13th or the 14th we're going to be in session?
13th.
Darn. Okay.
Sorry, Ben. It does cut into one of our work days, one of our, heavily attended work days too. So it's going to be a challenge to get all the work done that we need to get done.
One of my kids has a birthday on the 13th, so you're all going to have to do something for them in Augusta. No.
No problem. We'll work on that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Well, that concludes our work for the day. Thank you so much. And we will see you all on Tuesday.